Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment.
Blessings. This is Jules, and I am super excited to do this interview with Denise. This is part of Lauren Gailey's New Earth One, and we are presenting a workshop today called The Hidden Reasons. And before we start, Denise, I'm just going to have you tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am an energy healer. I've been doing energy healing, energy medicine type work for well over 20 years now. What got me started on this path was suffering from fibromyalgia and stress and overwork and perfectionism. And every modality that I have learned throughout my 20-some years has helped me to find a level of peace and balance in my life. And I feel like it saved my life. And whenever I was suffering from fibromyalgia and I discovered energy medicine, it was like, why don't doctors know about this? I could have been over that a year ago, you know? So my passion now is in educating people that there are other modalities and processes and tools and exercises and techniques that you can learn and do for yourself that will help to calm the mind and help your body to de-stress. And, doctors will say that stress is the number one killer. So if you can do something like emotional freedom technique and tap on those acupressure points, it's going to open up the flow of energy and it's going to calm your energy system. So that's me. I'm just passionate about teaching others that they don't have to suffer. And there are so many different tools and modalities out there that they can learn, either by participating in a group or on themselves to help improve their life, their health, and their vitality.
Mhm. And even the two, I love it having these kind of workshops where, whether you're just listening or if you choose to join the workshop that's coming up, that two or more that gather is just such a powerful energy. And we just are held in this really unique intelligence over that 6 week period, which is always such a beautiful experience. So with that, let's go into what the hidden reasons is. And I'll just let you kind of take over a little bit, Denise.
Okay. Well, before we get started, let's just take a moment to just center and ground ourselves, because this is a workshop for you, right? So, everybody that's listening in, just put your hands on your heart. And just take a couple of deep breaths in and out, and allow your mind, your body, and your spirit to be fully present and grounded, and to fully receive this information that is going to flow through today. Allow your mind to open up to new levels of awareness. And we like to say, be curious, right? How can this fit into your life? So another deep breath in, opening up those avenues of curiosity and inspiration as you listen in and participate in the clearings and information that will be coming through for you today. So one final deep breath in and out. Awesome. And that just helps us all to just be grounded and be fully present. I want you really to listen in. So the hidden reasons actually was a branch off of the DQ process that we were learning. And in DQ, what we do is we go in and we identify what our programs and beliefs are so we can clear them and then come into alignment with our highest self, our spirit. And you can say, your purpose, whatever it is that you're here for. There's something that's keeping you out of alignment. And once we can identify, we can move into what it is we want. And so I love using essential oils. And I, asked you about the possibility of creating a course using essential oils to take us deeper into our process and why we struggle with things in life. And the course was specifically designed to work with identifying what the hidden reasons are around why we struggle to lose weight.
Mhm.
But what we found out is that it's not the weight. It's all of those programs and beliefs that we're holding and all of the sabotaging behaviors that we put into place because it's not safe. And what the essential oils do, and there's a specific oil blend for each week. And each week, the oil blend is helping you to get to the root of what is hidden, what it is you need to see. So you can move out of that second level of consciousness and into awareness, into that third level of consciousness. So you can awaken to what your programs and patterns are. And then at that point, you're in choice. Okay.
I'd love to have you talk a little bit about, because I know there's people that are listening that are like, what is the second and third level of consciousness? So why don't you go into that just a little bit?
Well, the first level is like just completely unaware, right? You're like in just basal survival mode. The second level of awareness is when you start to kind of wake up and you look around at your life and you're like, whoa, how did I get here? And then the third level is whenever you start to wake up out of your programs and your patterns and you're like, okay, I see what's going on here. This isn't working for me. I'm ready for some changes. And then when you move through that third level of consciousness into that fourth level, then you're empowered. You're moving forward. You're not getting stuck in your victim mentality and control issues and all of those things. You can see it and quickly move into the patterns that you want to move into, that empowerment.
Mhm. I love it. I
And of
love
course, there's levels beyond that, but this is the base level course, so we'll just stick with that.
I think that's perfect. I think it's perfect. So they're using the oils, and what I love about the oils too is that the plant medicine in them is working with the body to reveal what maybe wasn't seen. So energetically, it's supporting the body where you can consciously move in to what is trying to be shown. So let's go into it a little bit more.
Okay, so the first week, we start with the Healthy Boundaries blend. And the first week, I have a worksheet where you go through and you just write out what are your top 5 disempowering beliefs. And the purpose of the Healthy Boundaries blend is that we get so wrapped up in everybody else's thought forms and the shoulds and the musts and the have tos that we don't even know who we are and what we want. And so the exercise helps you to suss it down and just see what it is that I'm constantly thinking about myself. So if I'm trying to lose weight and I think, oh, this is never going to happen. Or if you're trying to create a new business and you think, I'm not good enough, I don't have what it takes, I need to take another class or another course, right? Whatever it is that's stopping you, those top 5 disempowering beliefs will help you to narrow it down. And then every single day for twice a day, you're going to apply this Healthy Boundaries blend. And the oils are like magic to me. They go in and, like you said, they identify what those programs and where we're hardwired to think we have to always say yes when we should be saying no. Right? It doesn't resonate with our heart. And one of the gals that was in the class, when she got the Healthy Boundaries blend and she started using it, within 3 days, she was like, oh my God, this is like a life changer. Because she was the people pleaser and the one that always felt guilty if she said no. And she was always overgiving, she was always overstressed. And so it helped her to reclaim her sovereignty
Mm.
and own what she wanted. And so at the beginning of the week, we write down what our top 5 disempowering beliefs are. And then we just set the paper aside and you just apply the blend every day. And you don't know what's happening, right? But the magic is happening. The oils are going in and dissolving those hard wires. And then at the end of the week, I take you through a process where you go in and you line through one of your disempowering beliefs and you rewrite it to the positive. And in the beginning, yeah, you're thinking, oh, I'm not worthy. And it's hard to imagine that you can actually move out of that program belief.
Mm.
But by the end of the week, something happens where that hardwired way of thinking in the brain has like dissolved and becomes easy
Mhm.
to rewrite what it is you do want and you empower yourself with that new program. And you were going to say something.
I was, because what was coming to me is, first, I must be picking up on someone that is with that healthy boundaries, because the other space that so many sensitives, we're just so sensitive, and
Mhm.
just picking up, just going to events or being around a lot of people, or even just in your own family, and you're always picking up on everybody else's mood. And so you're just constantly having to kind of either have some time to yourself, or you just feel exhausted and it's just like, oh my gosh, I just have to go to bed, that kind of energy. Or going to the grocery store and coming home and going, why I felt so good before and now I don't. And it's starting to create those boundaries around even what other people's energy we're absorbing, and having the awareness that we're doing it, and then being able to put up a healthy boundary of, I don't need to pick up on everybody's stuff. And then when you were talking about the woman that was the people pleaser, just as we just kind of went through all of this, at the end of rewriting that, so of course we have a lot of different programs around people pleaser, but the one that's coming to me immediately is, if I take care of myself, others will suffer.
Mm.
And so I was just going to see if you had some, because I can feel like people are like, okay, well, what do I say instead? And, what is this that I'm going to move into instead? So I thought it would be fun to just rewrite it right now and let people kind of rewrite it as we go through this.
Absolutely. I was thinking the same thing. Yes. So let's just use the DQ process. So because it's so quick and powerful. So let's just go in and look at the universal consciousness and just put your hands on your heart. I'm going to just tune into that universal consciousness. And if you pick up on anything, Jules, please bring it in and we'll just release it as we go. So I'm being guided to go into the heart space. And I want everybody just to take in a deep breath and relax into what's going to come through and allow yourself to receive. And we're going to go into the first particle of existence, to this time and place called now. As we clear, cancel, remove, and delete the old belief of having to be there for everybody else. And that sense of, if I'm needed and wanted, I have a sense of belonging. So we're going to clear, cancel, remove, and delete the fear of survival. If I'm cast out and all alone, I can't survive. I can't live through this all alone. So let's clear, cancel, remove, and delete that. And we're going to bring in the 7 elements of the rainbow light to just flush through as it dissolves, releases, clears all that old programming and the fear of survival. And I want you to take a deep breath in and just repeat this I am statement as we have cleared out that old wiring and we rewire to the new. And the I am is, I am safe. I belong. We're going to breathe that in and just say it out loud for yourself. I am safe. I belong. And the third time, I am safe. I belong. And just breathe that frequency into every cell, every atom, every molecule. Feel what that feels like in your body as you allow it to just lock in and become your new dominant expression. And we say, thank you. I love you. It is done.
It's done. Healthy boundaries.
Healthy boundaries. And, safety and security, it's at the top of the list. And if we feel like if I am me, if I don't say yes, then I won't belong. And it goes back to that really, really old programming of that survival mechanism. And if you're in the group, right, if you're part of the clan, you have safety in numbers. And we will sabotage ourselves over and over again.
Just having the awareness that that is a primal, it's a primal program we all have, but as we awaken consciously, we can choose to see that that's not true, and that we can kind of bypass the wiring of the chemical response of our body into these higher states of consciousness. I mean, that's human evolution, right? And so it's really exciting that we can use the oils and these methods, and whether in DQ and just exploring in all these different ways that you unravel within this workshop, just brings so much insight. And in that, choice is everything. It's, do I want to live in my old programming, or do I want to awaken and evolve into my highest potential? And that's really what it all comes down to, is our potential is in choosing to move past our own programming. So let's continue. What would be next?
I really want to talk about sabotage. Because again, that's built into that safety and that protection. And one of the weeks of the course, we talk about food cravings. And it was so fun that week when people were looking at their food cravings. I don't know if you remember, you love your chocolate, and there always has to be chocolate in your home. And it's not that you're addicted to it, but you have a very balanced perspective on the chocolate, right? But when we broke it down and we were looking at what does the chocolate mean to you, and what is the emotional component that it's giving you, or just any food for that matter. And I was doing some work with a friend, and her craving is oil, high-fat foods. But she eats a very healthy diet, but it's the avocados, it's the olive oil. So they're all healthy and good. But she was recognizing as we were going through the program how she overindulged because it was giving her some emotional component, and she couldn't understand what it was that was driving her to overeat this really good, healthy food. And for her, again, it goes back to that sense of safety. Her brother used to pick on her terribly, and it gave her a sense of comfort. And we know that the brain needs fat to process information. And it's also, we store a lot of our toxicity, be it a thought or an emotion or a chemical environment or whatever we've ingested in our food. If the body can't detoxify, it stores it in the fat. And so for her, her fat, right, was a protective mechanism that on a subconscious level, she needed to help her to feel safe and to have that barrier between herself and the outside world. It changed her life to realize that she didn't need the fat to feel safe anymore.
I remember us having this conversation. I was driving home from I was driving my daughter's car home from college from Wisconsin. It was like a 16-hour drive. And I remember us talking on the phone and we were
Mhm.
talking about food cravings. And I wanted a Starbucks. I was like, I've been driving for 10 hours. I want a Starbucks. And so we went into that craving of wanting a Starbucks. And what I was craving was energy. I wanted to feel energized. And it was funny because just as having the awareness of what that craving was, I immediately, my body began to feel energized because it was all I needed to do is be aware of a shift that needed to happen. And so I never ended up getting the Starbucks because just having the awareness of what the craving was about altered my body and brought it back into harmony where I felt very focused and very energized. And that awareness piece is everything. It's just so huge. So what is the oil that goes with this?
The cravings week. I think it was in week 5. It was actually the letting go blend.
The letting go. It makes
Mhm.
sense because you're letting go of that emotional need because it really is that our emotion of choice is the craving because the craving is to create an emotion. And I just had the coolest insight about emotion over the weekend is that emotion is always created from a program. And if we're choosing something, so let's say it's even choosing to eat something, with trying to create an emotion is all we're doing is looping that program.
Yeah.
And so that awareness piece is so huge with that one. I feel like we should do a clearing on a universal craving.
I do, but let me bring in this other story from another
Okay.
client. And she figured out that her emotion that she craved was to feel loved.
Mm.
And there's something called addictive heart energy. And like any addiction, what will you do to feed that addiction? And so how does that play out in her life? And this kind of brings us back to our sabotage programs, right? Her addiction to love causes her to eat the things that she doesn't want to be eating because it's either too high fat or she's eating low carb. And
Mhm.
but for her, when she's having a meal with her husband, for example, she feels that emotional connection. And if she makes his favorite meal and he's happy, then she feels loved. And if they're having a bad day and they're not connecting emotionally, if they're not communicating, she wants to do something to make him happy so she can be happy. And can you see the triangle? How, well, I have to do this so he can be happy, so I can be happy, so I can feel loved. Oh my gosh.
Think that's a big one for a lot of people. It's if somebody else is unhappy, then either we need to fix it so that we can be happy, or we feel like we can't be happy if somebody else is unhappy. So we have to almost match them because well, if they're especially with children, if our children are suffering, then we
Mhm.
have to suffer too. It's that space.
And that's where the healthy boundaries blend comes in. And we use the healthy boundaries blend for the entire 6 week of the program to just really get everybody else's energies out of your field and just really embody who you are and what you want. So let's go in and just clear this addiction to love.
Mhm. I love it.
Does that sound good? Okay. So again, we're just going to use DQ because it's such a powerful, quick process. And I want each of you to just kind of tune in to what comes up for you as we go through the clearing. And if you become aware of your own program or pattern, then just, put it into the vortex and allow it to be cleared, canceled, removed, and deleted. So we just call in the divine and universal consciousness to help us to see what we need to see, feel what we need to feel, hear what we need to hear in order to rewire our cellular programming around the need for love and the addiction to love. We're to go into the belly of the cell. And I'm just seeing, just that faulty program about what love is and how so many of us don't really even know what it is, what true love really is, because we've never experienced it. So let's clear, cancel, remove, and delete not knowing what love truly is, but wanting it anyway. And all the confusion and frustration that goes along with all of that. And all the ways that you become a victim to wanting the love and feeling like you can't get it without compromising yourself in some way, shape, or form. So let's clear, cancel, remove, and delete all those programs and belief systems. And just tune into your inner knowing. Where in your body do you feel this information, this need for love? See what it's revealing to you. I'm just going to give you a minute to just tune in. And when you see the program, just offer it up to the divine, universal consciousness. And just let it go into random form and dissipate and dissolve as you observe what the program is with curiosity and awareness. And breathe into it and just say to yourself, that's interesting. I can let it go now. Thank you for showing that to me. So clearing all of the sabotaging programs and ways that we sabotage ourselves in order to get love, receive love, be loved. And everything we make that mean about who we are and what we have to do in order to get it. So let's clear, cancel, remove, and delete all of that. And I want you to take a deep breath in. Breathe in the 7 elements of the rainbow light. It feels so good just pouring in with all those programs deleted and dissolved. And just allowing the support of the divine to flow in and remind every cell in your body what true love really is. Even if you think you've never experienced true love, there's a part of you that knows. Connect to that divine source of love and let that flow in through every cell, every body, as it reawakens that memory of what true love is. Divine love, coming from divine source. Again, we want to program it with an I am statement. And I'm hearing, I am loved. I am love, I am loved. I am love, I am loved. I am love, I am loved. We just breathe that into every cell, allow it to download and lock in, because it becomes our new expression. And we say, thank you. I love you. It is done. That made my eyes cry.
Oh,
That was so beautiful.
it was so beautiful. You know what came to me, and this isn't the first time that this has come to me, but I just saw it in such a deep level this time, is that place where we connect love to an emotion. And love in its true form is a feeling or a knowing. And it's because when we are looking for that emotion of love, we're looking to feed a program. We're looking to, that little kid that wants, here, look at me, mommy. And if she pays attention, then he feels that's like, it's that, and it's creating a chemical response in the body of feeling loved. But it's actually just a chemical from a program of how we received attention, in the past or even as an adult. And but what was coming to me is that's not love. That's a chemical response in the body based on a program. So it's that same loop, just like with the sabotage. And true love is a knowing. I know I love. this person. And it comes from this place of stability, and nothing alters it because it's such a deep knowing within our heart space that it's not altered by whether or not we're getting attention, or it's not altered by the way our environment is unfolding or how somebody's reacting. It's just a knowing. So I think that's just such a beautiful place, that I am love is that place, and that I am loved from that same place.
Mhm.
It's a knowing.
Yeah. And one of the weeks we talk about victimhood, right? If I am a victim to love, I compromise myself, but I don't have to be a victim. And that's the freedom that we're all seeking, right? Is the freedom from all of these programs that are running our lives in the background that we're not happy with, but we've never been shown a way to like tune into them, find out what they are, and then have a tool that actually releases and clears it. So we can feel empowered, so we can move into choice. And then we have the freedom to really be true to ourselves.
And that's what and to know ourselves and at such a deep level where we know what that is, because that's when we are so used to choosing based on that healthy boundaries bend again on what other people think, or because if I do this then they're going to have this, and if we're always choosing based on our environment or what others think and feel, a lot of times we can kind of lose ourselves. Is, well, okay, I'm ready to choose me, but what am I actually choosing here? And so we can start pulling off all of this is what everybody else says I should be, but now I'm going to move into who I actually am. And that is such a powerful experience. I mean, we all will go through this if we continue to evolve. And there's no better time than now, when the universe is literally pouring into us these frequencies of evolution. Let's use it. Let's take all the stuff out and just move into our sovereignty and our inner truth.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would be next?
I want to talk a little bit about some research that's been done about the power of like group work. And, group work isn't for everybody, but I would venture to say that if you're watching a program like this, then you're probably a little interested in group work. But they did a study with emotional freedom technique, and all of these counselors and psychologists and psychiatrists were discovering the power of tapping on acupressure points and how it calmed the nervous system and it calmed the body and it supported people in making behavioral change. But as scientists, they wanted to prove, why was it working? And so, through a series of grants and research and studies, they were able to see where parts of the brain turned on when they were thinking about an experience or an emotional response, and then what the brain looked like after they tapped on the issue. And of course, they have to do several different studies to get that scientific verification. But what they found was, if you're doing like one-on-one work with a therapist and you're doing the tapping, you got amazing results. 20% effectiveness. Woo, 20%, right? But if you're doing it in a group, everybody has their own little twist of the issue, right? If it's struggle, if it's I need love, whatever it is, everybody's bringing in their own little piece of the pie. And when you're collectively tapping on all those acupressure points, it's like the divine just pours in and opens up all those energy pathways to receive what it is you're wanting. Be it the safety, the connection, the protection, the love. And so they actually prove scientifically that group work increases the effectiveness by over 40%.
And
That's
I'm not surprised by that at all.
Yeah,
It's
it's huge.
that unity piece, and that's another big energy for this year, is that collaboration and unity and coming together and showing up in the highest frequency of reflection is
Mhm.
a huge way of shifting in very fast ways, is through group work, just for that reason.
Yeah. And, we've had people sit through an entire class and not say a word, and that's okay. I mean, you don't even have to have your video turned on when we're doing a class. But one of the things I so often hear is, um, I don't normally talk in front of a group like this, and they're sharing something really personal and private. And just by their sharing, it helped somebody else to realize, oh my God, I'm not alone. I had that experience too, and my heart is still broken. I'm not alone. And we always see these little heart bubbles and little chats in the Zoom call. It's like, thank you for sharing that. It really that happened to me too. I know. I thought I was the only one that ever happened to. And so there's just so much, and that's one of the reasons I love doing. This is a 6-week course, so there's a lot of information in the classroom. There's exercises, there's written exercises to do. I do meditations that you guys can download and listen to. There is tons and tons and tons of support. And I don't want you to come to the class if you're not willing to put the work in.
Yeah.
I don't want you to show up for the class and just absorb whatever's going to happen in the class, which is powerful, but then get to the end of 6 weeks and not having done any of the written exercises, not having listened to any of the meditations, and then just say, well, this didn't work, right? You have to put in time for yourself, and you have to do the work. We say that over and over again. And we avoid what's underlying all of this emotion, right? We avoid it. And when things start to get kind of down to the nitty gritty, that ego mind can come in and try and talk us out of it. Oh, I don't feel like, joining in on the call today. I'll listen to it later, right? We start making excuses. See, there's another sabotage program. I'm getting too close to the source. I'm losing my protection. Oh, I can't do this. And so the group work helps to support that whole process. Like, you show up for class and 2 or 3 other people say, yeah, I really didn't want to come up to class today. And then the class that we're having that day was the very thing they needed to listen to.
Exactly. It's so powerful. That reflection piece, it just allows the divine to truly come in and show what needs to be seen. And and it can be hard to see what needs to be seen, but gosh, there's I've been on a spiritual path for over 30 years, and I'm still alive.
Yeah.
It never killed me.
Yeah.
We always make it in our minds. We think it's just going to be this really dramatic thing, but when we actually just enter it and do it and come out on the other side,
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, I've been thinking about being resistant to this for years. And if I would have just taken that 6 weeks to really look at what's there and then find out that it's not even a big deal. And, what we think is just gonna kill us, that safety piece of like, oh my gosh, if I change, and then we come out so empowered and really move into that energy of flow and potential. It's that place of what is that saying where there comes a day that it's harder to stay in a bud than to blossom, and it's just time to blossom. Like, we truly are calling out to those that are ready to step into their sovereignty and step into what it is to be a way shower, a light worker. And to be a light worker, we have to shine our light, and to shine our light, we have to know who we are. And if that lights you up, then you're going to love this workshop. I mean, it's so empowering in that you truly see what is hidden so that you can create choice to move into your highest potential.
Yeah. And the other benefit to our courses is that we ran this program last year and it's recorded. And one of the other gals, Kathy Reed, who's on our platform, and I took ourselves through the class a week in advance to see what was going to come up for us, because it was going to be a reflection of what was going to come up with the group. And it was also giving us the opportunity to see what was going to work and what we needed to maybe tweak, because it was the first time we had actually done this type of a class with the oils and everything. And so we recorded our sessions of what came up, how we answered the exercises in the course. And then we always did a universal clearing on what came up for us. So you're going to get tons and tons of clearing and healing and support. So all of the previous classrooms recordings are in there. Mine and Kathy's clearings are in there. Plus, you're going to get the live class. I mean, and like you were saying, Jules, oh my gosh, there's just no more powerful time in universal awakening to just get down to the nitty gritty and just see how these programs aren't going to kill us. They're not true.
The other part that's coming in for me is that when we're choosing to do this work, especially right now, and especially in this year of 2022, it's going to go really fast for everybody because the energy is just pouring. And so when we see something, we don't have to sit in it for a long period of time. We just see it and then we know it's there and then we create that choice. And that's what I love about DQ is it's like, it's done. And then we have, but once we see what needs to be seen, we can start to build on what we're becoming. And that becomes the focus. And it doesn't have to be hard. This old paradigm thing that clearing and changing is hard and it's emotional and it's all this stuff. It's just, no, it's not anymore. It's fun, you guys. This is fun work. It gets exciting. And I want you to feel excited. Like, if you this is lighting you up and you're like, oh my gosh, I always thought change was so hard. And oh, if I did this, then my whole life is going to fall apart. What if just looking at what needs to be done opens up this space that I call it the miracle pattern, because it truly is that when we move out of resistance and we move out of sabotage and we start to create these healthy boundaries, we move into a frequency where life becomes magical. And that's what I want to invite everybody in, because there's no better time to have that experience than now.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, the title of the class is The Hidden Reasons We Struggle to Lose Weight, but we can strike through losing weight. You can use this class for anything that you struggle with. I have found like the top 15 reasons that people use these hidden reasons to feel safe and protected. And they're all just defensive mechanisms, right? We do what we have to do in the moment to feel safe. And until we can see what those patterns are and decide, I mean, we can choose to hold on to our control issues, right? Or our victimhood. We can totally do that. But I believe, and I know you know this too, we are in that time of awakening where that just doesn't work for us anymore. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Let's finish with a universal clearing on opening us up. So it's kind of looking at that fear of change and then opening us up to highest potential. I just feel like that would be such a beautiful way to end the workshop, is just to bring in those frequencies of it's okay to say yes to yourself. It's okay to say yes to change. And that is not a bad or scary thing, but it opens us up to becoming and entering that miracle.
Okay. Well, let's use a different process for this one, shall we?
I would love to.
Right. So, you don't have to have taken a DQ class in order to participate in Hidden Reasons, right? Because I'll be doing the clearings. I'm very intuitive, so whatever the divine is inspiring me to do, I've learned tons of things over the years. So one of the techniques that I love is just tapping on the side of the head, right? And so this is part of the gallbladder meridian. And the gallbladder meridian runs up and down the head, all up and down. And whenever we go into fight or flight, parts of our brain shut down and we can't think straight. And so what we do is we tap out on the left. And what you want to do is just tap with all your fingertips around behind the ear right? And we just acknowledge how we're feeling. So I am afraid of change. Who will I be if I lose all this weight? Who will I be if I start saying no when I mean no? I'm afraid of change. I'm afraid of how my family will react to me. And I can feel my energy system. And you can also just kind of, rub your hand over behind the ear and the vagus nerve runs here. The vagus nerve runs through the brain all the way down through the entire body. So this is just connecting to that gallbladder meridian, that vagus nerve. As we clear the fear, we just acknowledge, I'm afraid. I don't know who I'll be after all of this. Yeah, I'm afraid. I admit it. Who will I be? And then on the right-hand side, we want to tap into positive. Again, tapping. I know I'm safe. I know that change is scary, but I'm ready for it. I'm ready to change. I can see how always saying yes when I mean no isn't working for me anymore. I'm choosing to release that and let it go. I feel safe. I connect to my divine, and I let that divine frequency flow through me and support me. I am safe. And just breathe that in. You can just rub. Just feel that sense of safety and security flowing through. I don't think I've ever done that process with you, Jules. How'd that feel?
I feel so light and just ready to take on the world. It's that place of I'm unstoppable. I hope everybody else is feeling that way too.
Yeah. And so my foundation in all the energy work that I do is in Chinese medicine. Not that I'm an acupuncturist, but I know the energy meridian, and there's so many things we can do with either like the EFT with the tapping or even just this, tapping on this gallbladder meridian, helping to calm that fight or flight is so powerful. And these are some of the tools that I like teaching people in my classes and in sessions and stuff, because it just helps to calm that fight or flight so that we can move into change and we can feel safe doing that.
I love that. And then, if I remember right, we also use the oils on meridians so that your body's actually absorbing that frequency pattern as well. Such a power. It's a powerful workshop. I mean, honestly, it's you aren't the same at the end. That's for sure.
Yes, I have, specifically designed each of the week's oils to, depending on what we're working on, like if we deal a lot with, say, anger, for example, there's a point underneath the breast called the liver 14 point. That's the end of the energy meridian, of the liver meridian. And when we tap on that point, we can just acknowledge, I'm so angry. I'm so resentful, right? You're clearing all of that out. It's like throwing out the trash. And then you bring in that positive. I'm calm. I'm relaxed. I'm choosing to be free of this anger. I'm choosing to empower myself, right? And so focusing on what we do want, focusing on the positive frequency that we're moving into alignment with, and using the energies of 2022 to support us in doing that is just going to be so powerful.
Powerful indeed. Is there any last minute words of wisdom or just something that we didn't cover that you would like to say?
What's coming through for me is just a sense of excitement of what this class will reveal, because every class that we do is different, because everybody that joins the class has their own issue. And so I'm excited to see what everybody is dealing with and what we can transform in our 6 weeks together. And just the moving into that miracle pattern of the possibility of change and transformation, and who we will be at the end of the 6 weeks.
Who do you want to be in
Mm,
6 weeks? That's such a powerful question. Who do I want to be today? And if I became that today, who would I be in 6 weeks? Even if that's just all you take away from this, just starting to ask ourselves those questions and then seeing what's getting in the way
mhm.
of achieving that, and being okay that, what, I'm not really sure. Take the class and find out.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so let's finish up with this. So we're going to tap on our thymus point, right? And so you want to just tap with all fingertips, and you want to tap to the left and down and around to the right. And so our thymus, when we tap on our thymus, balances our entire energy meridian system because we have 12 lines, 6 on one side, 6 on the other. And when we tap around the thymus, we're hitting all of those meridians. And so let's just tap in. What if this is the prayer I've been asking for? What if this class is going to be the catalyst that I need for change? What if this could actually work? What if it could be that easy? What if in 6 weeks I could be a totally new person? What if I might not even recognize that person? And what if I still feel safe and empowered and free and loved? What if? So we breathe that in. So empowering.
My heart is open. Well, this was just so powerful. And we hope that you all have enjoyed just going through these processes with Denise. And if your heart is lighting up right now, we invite you to come and sign up for the course. It starts April 1st. Is that correct?
That is correct.
April
Mhm.
1st, and it's a 6 weeks. And at the end of this, it's a 6 weeks of transformation.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's on a Friday. A lot of times we have classes during the week, but something was inspiring me to do it on a Friday because we're heading into the weekend, and that's when we seem to have our biggest struggles. And it also gives us that weekend to process the information that's going to come through in the class and to give us time to really sit with it and integrate the transformation.
Absolutely love it. Well, we are sending you all so much love. Thank you for being part of the New Earth One Network. And we thank Lauren Gailey for just holding this beautiful platform where we get to share these wonderful workshops with you. And until we meet again, we are just sending you a big, huge hug. We hope you feel it from our hearts to yours. And until we meet again, truly stepping into your highest potential. Thank you, Denise.
Thank you.